When one good story ends, an even better one begins. Rhodes middle of the ring. Crossroads. Cody's not done yet. Come on, Cody. Finished the story. For every moment that has defined me, for every single fan who has believed in me, for everyone who ever dreamed out in the open, you and I, right here and now, are standing on top of the mountain. My name is Cody Rhodes. Once undesirable, become undeniable, and now your undisputed WWE Champion.
It was a beautiful thing to see you finish your story.
AJ's the #1 contender.
But it's a shame that your title reign is going to end at Backlash.
Cody, we have something I want. To win back the championship, I'd say would prove a lot of people wrong. They don't know what I'm capable of. They think maybe I'm over the hill. Maybe I'm done. If you want to be the best, outwork the guy beside you. And I've done just that my whole career. And you know what's changed since then? Nothing.
We have two Georgia boys ready to mix it up for the first time for the biggest prize in the game. We haven't crossed paths yet, but we've been down the same roads, and we had to prove ourselves outside of WWE. And I look at this right here, and the weight of this isn't just of leather and gold. And at Backlash, we're going to see if you can carry it.
It seems like you're implying that I cannot carry the weight of that championship. That means that no matter how phenomenal you are, this is not a dream match for me. It's a must-win.
There can only be one.
I'm going to demolish everything and prove a point.
It's not about winning the title. It's about keeping it.
There can only be one. Stand up. No one can listen. Take it on.
I've waited my time. The time is now up. And I'm sorry, Cody, I really am. That's yours as well.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
You are listening to your very quick WWE Backlash France preview here on the Lock Betting podcast. Now, similar to when we covered the AEW show a couple of weeks back, this is the same. So we're not going to be critical of AEW booking matches with very obvious results and not paint WWE with the same brush, because this is a pay-per-view where I believe the results are very clear and the odds suggest exactly the same. So I cannot find any significant value here across the board other than in the match between the Bloodline taking on Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Other than that match, there doesn't appear to be any significant value, and all the favourites are favourites for a reason, and I believe they will all win their matches. Cody Rhodes is a 1-20 favourite. That's fair to retain the title against AJ Styles. Bayley is a 1-5 minus 500 favourite with Tiffany Stratton at 5-1 and Naomi at 7-1. Again, I believe that is fair. They're not taking the belt off Bayley this early on. Damian Priest is a 1-6 favourite with Jey Uso at 4-1. I thought that Uso had a very, very small chance of winning prior to this week's Raw. I believed it didn't really matter too much who carried the belt into Glasgow, because Drew McIntyre would be winning anyway, and then he would go on to feud CM Punk for the title. So I didn't think it really mattered too much if that was the direction, if it was Jay or whether it was Damian Priest, although it would have been a bad look for Damian Priest to lose it on his first pay-per-view. So I didn't really believe that strongly or anything. I just believed that Priest only had a 80% chance of winning prior to this week's Raw. I thought Jay had a 20% chance, but this week's Raw completely eliminated that, and my chances for Jey Uso winning have now reduced down to about 2 or 3% off the back of him pinning a Judgment Day member on Monday Night Raw. For me, that is a giveaway. It's always been a giveaway historically. I don't think Jay's pinning anybody in the Judgment Day and then winning the belt here as well. Obviously, the Judgment Day have been booked a lot stronger in the past, and the fact that they were drafted in the 4th round tells you kind of where they're at. And the main players in the group are Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, although there's still tremendous heat for Dominic Mysterio. But the Judgment Day need to be re-strengthened. They need something positive. They need to move in a more positive direction. I don't think Priest losing the belt is that direction at his first pay-per-view. So whilst Jay is hot, I believe Priest wins here. And I do believe that Jay could factor into this Bloodline feud as well. I know he's been drafted over to Raw, but Jimmy's likely to be on SmackDown. You obviously have the Bloodline over on SmackDown. You have Orton and Kevin Owens feuding with the Bloodline over on SmackDown. You know that Jacob Fatu's going to be coming in at some point. So there does seem more for Jay to do over there than it does over on Raw. So perhaps we could have some Bloodline interference in his match, which is how Damian Priest wins. Because he's told the Judgment Day not to interfere, but he's not had any conversations with the Bloodline, and the Bloodline wouldn't listen to him anyway. So be interested to see how that develops. Be interesting to see how Jay is cost the match, whether it be Judgment Day defying orders or whether it be the Bloodline getting involved, in which case we may see some sort of trade somewhere along the line with Jay actually ending up on SmackDown and somebody else ending up on Raw in exchange for Jay. And it's hard to come up with viable contenders off the top of my head because I haven't really thought it through. And it's not something we want to do here on a very quick betting show anyway. Maybe it's something we'll address on the next podcast once we've seen the results of this show. We have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair challenging the Kabuki Warriors for the tag titles. I think these titles go over to SmackDown, which is where Jade and Bianca Belair are. You can see by the draft that the tag team challengers have for Jade and Bianca have already been drafted. And whilst I don't think in any way that Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell or Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are credible as far as challengers go to this team of Bianca and Jade Cargill, I do believe at some point somebody is going to upset them and take the belts as a result of some sort of miscommunication, because I do believe that they are doing the women's version of the Mega Powers story with these two. I do believe they will end up splitting and facing each other. They may not even drop the belts to do that. Maybe they just run through everybody and they just end up turning on each other, with Jade obviously being the more clear heel out of the two. But yeah, we'll just see how that pans out in the future. But for now, I do believe they will end up winning the tag belts. They are the 1-7 -700 favourites to do that. And I do believe they are the correct odds, as I do not see any way that the Kabuki Warriors do retain. And the last match, as I mentioned at the top of the show, this one is priced up closely. This one, the books feel, is a more closely contested match as Kevin Owens and Randy Orton go up against the Bloodline. Now, for me, I don't see it that way. For me, I think it's very, very clear that a third member is coming in. We know that Jacob Fatu has been signed, and I do believe this is a very, very good place for him to debut, and I believe he'll be involved in this match, and I believe that Orton and Owens will be looking for a third person to even out things after this loss. The team of Solo and Tama Tonga are the narrow favourites here at 4-5, with Orton and KO at even money. I would have Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa way wider than this. Owens and Orton don't need to win this match. They could win this match, and what you could see is the Samoans just attacking Owens and Orton after the match to keep it going. If this is the opening match, I would be more concerned, because the opening match on a pay-per-view is usually run by the good guys. And I do believe that's probably more likely to be the women's tag title match, where you start with a feel-good title change, and then you can have heels winning in other matches on the show. You obviously close out with the good guy winning with Cody. But I do believe Tama Tonga and Solo offer up some value here at the price of 4-5 minus 125. That's it for me and this Backlash betting preview. We'll be back with our Backlash review. Until then, good luck with all your bets as always, and thanks for listening.